Okay, welcome to the channel. Ted here. Just want to do a video to kind of go over the last chunk of time for the COVID-19 stuff. I'm working from home, the kids working from home, all that kind of stuff. Just want to kind of do a what's been happening. After the kids are done school today, they'll have been home 13 weeks. They're supposed to be working on their final things that for the rest of the school year. Technically, there's 2 more weeks of school, but they're just supposed to be finishing up and cleaning up the last of their stuff. So, um, essentially, nothing more new is supposed to be assigned at this point. So it's interesting that so 13 weeks, and I will be 13 weeks working from home as soon as I finish work on Wednesday. So that's pretty crazy. Noise from work, we still don't know when we're going back into the office. They're being very prudent on being concerned about bringing everybody back in the office and then having a second wave come through and things like that. I'm in Manitoba, Canada, and we've done extremely well on keeping our cases down. Everyone pretty much embraced the self quarantining and things like that, and it's done well. We've got a few cases coming in. We had a week where we had no new cases. The last 2 3 days we've had one case, two case, one case, that kind of thing. So we are getting some cases, but it's not significant, and most of the ones seem to have been related to travel outside the province. So we've been good. We just need to be very careful when the whole province gets opened up again for travel, both interprovincially and then internationally, the U.S. and the rest of the world. So that's something we have to be very careful with. We have to watch for. Um, so the noise I've been hearing from work is that they will be discussing coming back in the office in the fall, but that may push earlier. We'll see how that all goes. Um, but yeah, if we go to the fall, say into early September, um, yeah, I think that means another 11 or 12 weeks I'll be home. Depending on when they go into September, that would, I could be half a year working from home, which is wild. Really, when it comes down to it, it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, that's just very interesting. But I kind of wanted to go through. I've been keeping notes in OneNote. I'm just gonna switch here. I've been keeping notes just to remind myself what's been going on, what I've been thinking through the time periods and things like that, and just kind of track what's been going on because the world has changed and there's always something new and always some crazy stuff going on. So yeah, I do want to start by saying that we've been very lucky here. Manitoba's been good for keeping the cases down. There haven't been that many cases overall. Um, there have been some deaths, unfortunately, but it hasn't been very many again, all things considered. I mean, one is too many, but it has been considerably less than in other areas. So we've been very lucky here. We're lucky here at home too. I'm here in my computer office. That when we built the house, this room was designated for me to do my computer stuff because I've always been a computer nerd, playing with technology and things like that, and that's why I'm in my 40s trying YouTube stuff and streaming and things like that because I'm just interested in the technology. So I've had a space to do that within the house. And this was before we even had kids. We built the house in 2004, and we had our first kid. Our son was born in 2006. So it's given me a quiet space to do this kind of stuff. And I've got enough desk space around that I've been able to bring in. Over on this side, I've got my work laptop and a couple screens attached to that where I do the majority of my work. And behind me, I've got an extra secure laptop hooked into that TV for some of the stuff I have to do at work. That requires a more secure connection than my normal laptop and work area. So that's behind me, so I can have them both working at the same time. And then, of course, I got my personal computer here with my tree and my monitor tree and stuff like that. Um, it, it's pretty wild when you look around the office, the amount of technology that's in here. But yeah, like I like tech, but I buy stuff that lasts. My main monitor, um, on this computer is like 8, 9 years old, and that's my newest personal monitor that I have. So I have tech, but and I play with it, but I keep making it last longer. Like I'm shooting right now my webcam with Canon T4i, which is quite an older model of camera now. I've had it for quite a long time. I did buy it new, but yeah, we've had it for a really long time. And I've just, bought some accessories here and there, bought the cam light to go with it, things like that that have allowed me to use this for basically extend the life of the technology. Buy good tech and then find a way to extend its uses and use it for other things as time goes on. So for the kids, our son Tay, he does his work in his room. He's got a desktop in there. We did get him a second monitor just because a bunch of the stuff he was doing, it just was much more efficient for him to have that second monitor, and he took that like a duck takes to water. It's good. Uh, the trick now is to get him out of his out of his room to do stuff. So we have to make sure to drag him out to the pool and that kind of stuff, and see the light of day, and make sure he eats his meals in the kitchen, not in his room, that kind of stuff. But he's good. He's mostly self-starting. There's some stuff here. Now that we've been going this long, there's stuff that he procrastinates on, decides he doesn't want to do, and yeah, like I said, we're almost done. But I noticed today there was a couple assignments that were past due, and it's like, hold on, you were gaming, on Friday when you should have been doing this. So we're getting that kind of cleaned up. But yeah, so that's good. He's doing quite well. And he's excited for it to be kind of done because this is his last year at the school he's at. He's moving into a different program in the fall, so he's quite excited about that. He's 13, yeah, he'll be 14 in August, so he's excited for change. A daughter. Just before this all started, we had actually bought her a laptop. It's a really good, cheap deal. Again, I'm talking amount of tech we've got, but again, we buy inexpensive stuff that's decent quality. So it's a Dell, not a real high powerful processor. It's an i3 in it, but touchscreen and things like that. And the price of it was really, but got it on a really good limited deal, and it works fantastic for her. And yeah, we started working from home here, and she was all set up. She didn't have to use somebody else's computer, and she could, her own stuff worked well. And Heather was able to use her own computer for her work stuff and that kind of stuff. And for the first good chunk, uh, Heather's got a pool maintenance business, so she wasn't doing much because it was still winter essentially. We couldn't do anything with pools or anything like that. So now she is out working, and she was, pool maintenance is considered an essential service when it comes right down to it. Mostly because you do not want pools to go awful. So in some areas like the U.S. or whatever, the winter maintenance for a pool is basically you just you stop heating or anything, and you just kind of circulate or whatever. But here in Canada, you have to drain down a certain level, drain all the pipes, and put antifreeze in, and a bunch of things like that, just so your pipes don't freeze and your equipment doesn't freeze over the winter and get destroyed. Well, then because you have to do that in the fall, in the spring, you've got to open that all up so you can get the water circulating again, so it doesn't become pond scum and you start getting mosquitoes. You don't want that during any kind of emergency, and this happens with hurricanes and things like that. You don't want swimming pools to become this source of a second health hazard, just another, with different mosquitoes in different areas and things like that. You just don't want that kind of stuff happening. So essential service. So she's working now doing that, and then I'm working here from home. We've been able to work from home, so we've been pretty good. This little never really made it as a blog. I could have put it up on a blog on Big Goofy Runner, I suppose, but it was just some thoughts. And it's interesting to see when I started, I had the mental idea that I was going to use the time to get in better shape and things like that. And I did find over time that I almost had less time during the day um, with the school stuff or with the work stuff than what I would normally have had. Um, I would have found at work that I've got 5 minutes time here. I'll go get a drink of water, that kind of stuff. And I seem to be constantly, basically, one meeting to the next, to the next, to the next. Um, it's almost like that when people are booking meetings, they try and give a little bit of time in between them when you have to physically walk from one area to another. But when everyone's knowing you're just doing an electronic meeting, you can stack them. So you didn't get it. I don't get as much breaks. I find I'm not finding I have that as much breaks. So getting the time to go. Okay, I'm gonna go spend 10 minutes walking on the treadmill, or I'm gonna do 5 minutes of weights, something like that. It's been harder to do than I would have liked, or even what I would have thought. So, but I have been doing weights, light weights through the day at different times, just 5 or 6 upper body exercises that I do just to work the arms and shoulders and chest a little bit. I do chin ups every morning, as well as push ups and dips. I got a dip machine that I can do my dips on. So I'm working a good chunk of the upper body quite frequently. And I've actually found, well, for a period of the lockdown, I was actually doing chin ups. I chin up sets twice a day. I was doing it in the morning before I started work, and then I'd do it again in the evening when I tuck the kids in after I tuck the kids in. But I ended up with some stress, repetitive stress in my left arm here. So I backed off on that and backed off a little bit on the weights I was doing. I'm just gonna go back to the full screen because I'm not really showing the OneNote stuff, but just show that I've been keeping track of that kind of stuff. But yeah, as time went on, like I spent less time on the treadmill. I was getting less motivated and less motivated. Like I freely admit, and I am extremely thankful that how well things are working for us here. It's good, but it doesn't I mean, it helps. We know we don't have as many problems or as many stressors as others, but there's still stress. I mean, there's still a pandemic. The constant news cycle right now is just crazy. So that is very stressful. I mean, I'm trying to limit the amount of news I read and when I read it, just so you know my head doesn't go nuts. Um, but yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, what how things have been and how things have been going. But yeah, it's overall it's going good though. But there is stress, and my motivation to run is being in the toilet. I've done a few runs here and there. I still have some stuff. Um, I was starting to get motivated to do some stuff, and then one of the last videos I posted was me falling in the pool, and I did some decent damage to my knee. It's weeks later now, and it's still swollen and a little sensitive, but I it's extremely usable. So like this last week, this is like the last day of on a vacation, like a stay-at-home vacation I've had, because I had to get a bunch of yard work done. There was, yeah, based that video where I talked about taking the dive and hurting my knee and falling in the pool and almost killing myself. Um, I talked about there was an area of the yard that was sinking, essentially, and washing away, and was risking structural integrity of the pool. So I did get that all fixed, and then that worked back across the yard. There's other things I needed to repair. There's a patio I needed to repair because to get to where that spot was, I had to go around the pool and over a patio that was pre-existing, and of course all that traffic with the wheelbarrow and all the rocks and stuff like that just basically wrecked that patio. So I had to fix that patio, which was a full day. I had to, uh, well, we created a new patio, an additional patio, that had come from an area where we had a decorative fence we'd had in that was to keep the kids away from the pool a little bit. It wasn't meant as a true safety device. It was just there to give us like an extra 10 seconds if they started going towards the pool. But it was there to look pretty. It looked like the Disney's Beach Club, the kind of colors and the rope fence and things like that. It was just, uh, it was decoration and like just a minuscule little amount of safety there. But when we got the dogs, they chewed through the rope fence. I did some fixing on it, but then they would chew through the fixes and a bunch of things like that. And now that the kids are older, we don't really need that extra 5 seconds of protection. So we pulled that fence out, and um, so the way our yard works is we come out our back patio door, and we got a deck, and then we go down a set of stairs that go along the side of the house, and we had a walkway from there that goes out to the backyard or to the side yard where we take the dogs to do their business and green grass, and that's playtime for the kids and stuff like that. And then we also had a gate. We'd go to the right into the pool area. So we decided to pull that fence out, and now we had an extra 3.5 feet that was open space that was part of the whole pool area now instead of being part of the other yard. So we kind of went, okay, we got to make this all kind of tie together, especially since the grass was heavily dead in that area and needed to be fixed. So we fixed that by basically the original plan was just to basically clean that back out, limestone, and to build it up, make sure the drainage was good, and then decorative rock just to kind of make this big open area. But then that extended to be a new patio instead, which the rock and the limestone would have been a day to do the patio and the other stuff. Basically, it was 2.5 days to do that piece, and that was exhausting in the sunlight and the heat. But the yard's all done now, but I can't move my fingers. It's just they hurt. But the moral of that story is my knee did. Wow, we're talking 100 and some wheelbarrows worth of stuff. I did. Yeah, and it was all manual essentially, and so I did. Yeah, my knee helped handled it, even though I'd hurt it. So it's strong, but if I'm been home for almost 13 weeks now, my weight is within 3 pounds of when I started when I got home. My belly feels bigger, and I know I've put muscle on my shoulders and my arms, and my chest for all the work I've been doing. So if my chest and arms are stronger and bigger, I put on muscle there, but my belly feels bigger, and I've only gone up a few pounds, it means I lost muscle in my legs, which is unfortunate. That doesn't help running, that kind of thing. So they're still strong because I mean I still did what I did, but it I need to get that strength back, and I'm realizing that when I was in the office, I did a lot more moving around than I really realized, going between meetings, and several of the meeting rooms were basically up a long flight of stairs that would have been almost a double flight because of just the height of that building area. So I was getting a lot more stair workout and walking and general moving around than I'm getting here at home. So I got to do something about that. So I got to figure out what to do. I'm realizing I need to run. Absolutely, I need to get running again to burn those calories. But I need to strengthen those legs, and I've done some stuff. I've incorporated some stuff with my light weights that I'm doing for my upper body. I'm doing some squats and things like that. Incorporated a couple little exercises there just to work the joints and a little bit of the muscles. But I need to do a bit more strengthening that, and I don't have any home weight stuff that would be good for really heavily weighted squats. Like I don't have a Smith machine or anything like that, so I don't have anything like that. So I need to do something. I'm realizing stairs is probably my best option, but I don't like all the staircases in the house are either short. Well, yeah, there's a couple short staircases, a longer staircase, but they're all carpeted, and I don't want to be spending a half an hour walking up and down this carpeted stairs, possibly sweating on it, wrecking the carpet. That's counterproductive for me to be breaking stuff to try and get better exercise. So I got to figure out a way to do stairs without having to buy a stair stepper. So we'll see. We'll see what I come up with that. Potentially, it'll be my deck stairs or something like that. But I'll have to. I got to figure something out. So, the problem with my deck stairs is it's south facing, so the intense sun. I've got to be doing it either at night, stomping up and down the stairs while people are trying to sleep, or I got to do it during the sunlight during the day, and that's could be pretty crazy. So, but we'll figure that out. I'm going to continue with the weight stuff. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's been good. Like it's been weird. Like we've had birthdays during. Well, I guess for the immediate family, only I've had a birthday during the lockdown. Um, but yeah, Mother's Day. Geez, Father's Day's next weekend. Um, Mother's Day was during lockdown. Heather's mother's birthday was during lockdown, so that was weird too. So it's just strange times all around. We're doing good. It's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, it's gonna be good once the kids roll into a normal summer and they're done with their schoolwork because they are mentally done with their schoolwork right now. I can tell, um, and that kind of stuff. But it, yeah, it's been interesting. It's been good. So this video has kind of wandered from what I had expected to be, but that's okay. I just want to record something that kind of just captured the thoughts and my mindset and that kind of stuff. And it's, yeah, at this point, I need to start getting in more exercise. I did a whack of exercise this week, and surprisingly, my weight didn't change. But I wonder if part of that's the Advil. Advil can do some uh, using Advil for my joints and things like that. And Advil can sometimes make me retain water, so I'm wondering if that's part of why it looks like I didn't lose any weight through doing this week's work. And I mean, because my step count is pretty close to a half marathon each day, just and while doing weighted stuff with wheelbarrows and stuff like that. So I definitely put in some hard work this week, and it does not show in what the scale says. So that's disappointing, but at least the yard looks good. That's that's good. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop here just to see where, just to have a quick look at this video. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the rambling. Got any suggestions on how best to work the legs without some good strength training machines? Because I'm a fairly big guy, fairly strong, and just using some light weights in my hand while doing some squats and lunges does something, but it's not quite as much as I want. And yeah, I'll do some running on inclines and stuff like that. On the treadmill, the trick with that though is I'm in a basement with a drop ceiling, and too much of an incline on the treadmill makes my head hit the ceiling. So I got to limit that as well. But I got to figure out something to strengthen my legs, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Everybody stay safe out there. Let's get through this, and I will see you in the next video.